Are you rethinking your purpose in life? Being centered in a strong spiritual connection is more important now than ever. Hi, I'm Bryn Blankinship, hypnotherapist, international instructor, and author. Each episode, along with Dr. Pat, I'll share my experiences with guiding spiritual regression clients into the afterlife and the soul lessons gained, prompting you to explore your own soul's journey and empowering you by shifting your perception of yourself and your place in this world. I want you to know that you're here by design, not by accident. You are not alone. You are loved. You are here on purpose, for a purpose. When you stand in your truth and fulfill your purpose, you support others in fulfilling theirs. If this intrigues you, stay tuned in as we explore. Hey everybody, I'm Bryn Blankinship, your host, and today on the Afterlife Teacher, we're going to talk about how transcending lifetimes can help heal fear. Fear gets carried over from lifetimes, and it's called that karmic carryover. And so today we're going to journey beyond time to explore how the fear follows us across lifetimes and how love brings us home again. Understanding and really exploring the message that fear has, because it's there for a reason. And, in my practice with past life regression and soul expression, spiritual regression, this is done for exploration. It's not about exploring a past life for entertainment. Even though past lives are exciting and interesting to know about, I always help guide my clients to that deeper place within themselves so they can move out of pain, right? And into confidence and a fuller expression of themselves connected to guidance, spiritual guidance that's there for them. So the fear blocks. The fear gets in the way, but it's also a messenger. And so when we can revisit past life memories or ancestral imprints, fear shows up as a protection many times, and it's your soul's way of saying, whoa, 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 I've been here before. I got hurt the last time we came into a situation like this, so we're just gonna lock it down and we're gonna protect you here. So the healing comes when we remember we can be safe again, that we can love again, and then the love dissolves the fear. So as we move through today's session, through today's episode actually, I invite you to take a deep breath and inhale light and exhale heaviness, moving away from contraction and into expansion as you're releasing your own fears just from having an understanding of fear itself as the messenger, right? It's here to teach us something. And exploring that fear, it weaves through our journey, but we have lifetimes of things that we're working on. We have themes of things that we're working with, whether it's fear itself or it's some other issue that we're working with. We have been working with this for lifetimes, more than the one that you're in, usually several lifetimes. And it's a theme of something that we experience each side of the experience. And by doing that, that helps us to understand it and then move through it and to release it. And remember, when we're following our purpose, it helps others follow theirs. So there are other players that are here assisting us, playing the different roles that are helping us to understand ourselves better and put some of those fears to rest, right? The more you can release the fear and bring in light, the more connected you can be to the higher guidance that's available to you, your soul's guidance, your spiritual team, your spirit guides, who are all here walking with us. We forget, right? We're in the midst of doing something, and then the fear comes in, and the chaos, the confusion, and we forget that we have guidance. That help is available. So when we can get clear, we can move past. So, what is the root cause of the fear that I'm experiencing? That's a really good question to ask yourself. And these are the types of questions that I'll ask the client when they're in session so that we can get to the origin of the past life that is carrying the fear. Like, what are the roots of this issue that I'm working with? And what is the fear here to teach me? How to move from fearful to fearless. Because fear is it's a protector. Like, you don't want to put your hand on a hot burner on a stove. So the fear of that keeps you from doing that. So that's a good thing. So that you don't just rush out and do something harmful. But other times fear can hold you back and you miss out on living because there's so much fear. So staying present is going to help you with that. Fears can be ancient and they live in our bodies, and choices and relationships, and then they echo through our thoughts, they echo through the stories that we're going to talk about here, they echo unconsciously beneath the surface. So regression is a great way to get in and uncover. And beneath that is always the deeper truth that carries a message: we are safe to grow, we are safe to remember, and we're safe to love, loving ourselves as well as others, right? When you can learn to trust yourself, then you can trust relationships, decisions. When you trust yourself, you can trust your choices, good or bad. You learn from them. Sometimes a bad choice helps you in the long run get there faster and better, smoother. It builds confidence. It's there for a reason. So I had a client that she had a fear of heights and of being left out. And we explored this. We followed the energy of that fear that took us to a past life where she was a slave, chained at the ankles to a stone wall of a Colosseum in ancient times. And she was building the Colosseum. And she lived, ate, slept, breathed, worked, chained by the ankles in that spot. And as she put more stones on that step that was leading up the exterior of the Colosseum, it got her closer to the top, and she could hear the sounds from inside the Colosseum. And she really wanted to be part of that instead of on the outside. Here she was on the outside physically and literally emotionally. So she really, in current life, had an issue: fear of heights and fear of being left out. So she wanted to be part of everything, but she became tired and weary and fell. She fell physically as well as emotionally. She fell from trust in her experience in her daily life, and she died in that moment. So when we explored that, we found out that she had carried over guilt from that lifetime for something that she couldn't control. And she had carried that into her present. So she couldn't control what was happening. She felt guilty about it. She carried that into her present. And now she was doing the same thing. So we discovered that by revisiting that moment and exploring this with compassion, we found that the fear wasn't about falling, it was about control. It was all about control and not being able to have control over her life. So when she forgave herself, her body softened. And then when she realized it was time to stop trying controlling others in current life, just to let her loved ones, she loved them, but she tried to control them. Let them live their lives, make their choices. When she realized that it was time to stop doing that, she immediately felt lighter in the session. So that's what we're talking about. She had a fear that if she let go of others, that they might make the wrong choices. but it was stemming from where she had an experience where she had no control. So a lot of times, I chose this story because a lot of times in life, we are going through things where we feel like we don't have a choice. We hear about experiences, and sometimes the only choice that you can make is the mindset that you choose to live in while you're moving through the experiences. So not getting too far ahead of yourself, not getting too far, into the past, just being in the moment so that you can make better choices as you're moving through your experiences. You're building trust in yourself. We have soul agreements. Each fear holds a lesson. It's an invitation to remember and to become whole again. So these soul agreements are there to help you heal. That's why they keep showing up. That's why these themes keep showing up in life, repeating themselves. They're giving you the opportunity to work through them. Another client that I had a fear of making decisions. She was stuck in indecision and overthinking out of fear of making the wrong decision. And this caused indecision. It caused lack of trust in herself. So in the session, we followed that, and it went to a past life as a witch. And in the village, she was tasked with a life or death decision regarding a man's life in the village. And they brought the man up in front of her, in front of the whole village. It was a small town, ancient times. And the villagers were angry. They wanted revenge on this man for what he had done. But she knew he had seen that he knew he had made a mistake. He had seen the error of his ways. He wasn't going to do it again. And she didn't want to kill him. And they put the decision on her. So she made the decision not to kill him, even though the mob wanted revenge. So when she gave her decision that she wasn't going to kill him, they turned on her and killed her. So this is where her current life indecision was stemming from. And so either way, someone would have died that day, either the man or her, and by her indecision, she died. The carryover into current life had her understanding her overthinking, understanding her indecision, but still knowing that she made the right choice because she didn't feel that she stood by her choice. She carried over the impact of the overthinking into current life. And she was also disappointed in the townspeople. She was really disappointed in them and in humanity because of how they acted. So the lesson that her guides helped her to understand was don't be afraid to make decisions. Remember that there's a bigger plan and to learn from mistakes. And in her case, the mistake was not in making the choice. The mistake was doubting herself in death as she's making the choice. So that last moment in death got carried over into current life, right? And it's impacting everything she's doing now. So by doing this work, she was able to move out of that indecisiveness, move forward with some things that she wanted to do in life and do so happily, joyfully, freer, right? So moving from restriction to expansion. When you're fearful, you're carrying restriction. When you're feeling expanded, you're opening up again. And learning, it's like a muscle that we flex. We learn through these experiences, and then suddenly we're getting stronger without even recognizing how strong we've become. So sometimes there is group healing taking place, right? Like incarnating during a time in a past life where floods wiped out groups of people, like Atlantis, for example. So one of the lessons, there's so many lessons coming through from Atlantis, but if you were part of a group that died then, it's to not have fear now, right? And also, guides have explained to clients and me in sessions how that's not going to happen again. That happened for the reasons that it happened then, but that's not happening now. And so everyone is going through a transformation. When you're feeling fear, let it go. Release it so that you can move forward, bringing more light onto this planet. So as you're listening, thinking about fear, thinking about some of the client stories, ask yourself, where does fear echo in your body and in your choices? And if your soul could speak beyond the fear, what would it say? How can you use compassion to bridge the divide happening within you, the two feelings that you're experiencing within you, right? And then come back to this affirmation: I am safe to love, I am safe to grow, I am safe to be free. And let that lead you forward with more confidence and beginning to trust in yourself and your experiences by choosing patience over panic, love over fear. You're strengthening that golden thread that leads from you to your soul, to your spiritual team. A whole team is there just for you to assist you. And when we can listen, we can hear them. We can hear them speaking. We can feel them. We can feel that guidance that's guiding us to where we need to be, or part of that bigger plan that's there for us when we can move out of the things that are restricting us. And it's understandable that you're going to have those times where you feel uncertain. But this is when you're outgrowing. You might feel restlessness, you might feel uncertainty. This is where you're often outgrowing the old behaviors and you're just not quite into the new situation yet. You're aligning with the new pathway, but you're shedding the old and you're somewhere in between. Maybe you're 50% along onto the new pathway. Maybe you're 75% there. You're just shedding those layers. But when you're shedding the layers, you're shedding lifetimes of stuff. Lifetimes. The weight of all that is coming off of you. It's coming off of your spirit. We're moving into a time of more clarity, more communication. Our guides are becoming more readily available to us, and we can access that support. Our soul, remember, our soul is there, and a thread connects to this body, the part that's in the body. So we can communicate with our soul and get more information about the next steps, what we should be doing next. But we do that by staying in the moment, working through emotions that come up, and using other people's stories, like these past life stories in my book, The Limitless Soul, in the podcast episodes that we've already talked through, different experiences that clients have had, so that can help you move through your own stuff as well. And understanding the bigger purpose of why you're here. So as you're moving from survival into purpose, then the new doors are opening. You get out of that survival mode and you get into clarity, moving out of panic into patience, and then you can make decisions from a place of strength, healing at the soul level and digging deep through the uncomfortable stuff to help get there. So getting you back to a place of trust and love and light and joy. Joy just for the fact that you're here in this moment. Joy for what you're doing, what you've accomplished, what you're going to be doing. Joy for the fact that you are here on this planet. There are souls waiting in line to come here to Earth. It's an advanced planet. You need experience to maneuver all the emotions that we go through. And these are tools. Past life regression is a tool that's available to you to tap into that deeper self, to remember who you are. It's really about the uncovering and the remembering. You already know who you are at a deeper level, and we're uncovering that to bring that to light so that you can relax a bit. in the moment, in your daily life. You can sleep better, wake up feeling refreshed, and know that there's purpose to the reason that you're here. There's purpose for you being here. You're not, it's not a random reason that you're here. So stepping back allows you to align. It allows you to release anything that no longer serves you so that you can step forward, rooted more firmly into current life and the steps that lie ahead for you. And trust yourself, trust the timing, and know that there's a bigger picture. There are experiences there for you. And so we are transcending lifetimes, going across multiple lifetimes to clear, realign, and move forward stronger, better, with more clarity, less chaos. But if you feel restlessness, if you feel fear, sometimes it shows up as boredom. Recognize those things and ask yourself questions that will help you to, not only recognize where you're holding that in your body, but how to move it out of there. So inhale light, exhale heaviness, feel yourself opening, releasing constriction, and opening expansion, and see if you notice a difference in your daily life, in your interactions with others, in the way that you feel. See how that starts to shift things just by having an awareness that it exists. And I want to let you know that you're listening to the Afterlife Teacher, and you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn at Bryn Blankinship Author. And you're not here as a random experiment. You're here because you are important. You're part of the bigger purpose, the bigger plan, and we need you to fulfill that just by your being here at this time on the planet. So thank you very much, and until next time.
You've been listening to Afterlife Teacher, Soul Lessons bringing you full circle with Bryn Blankinship and Dr. Pat. Tune into Transformation Talk Radio for more discussions of the soul's journey across different lifetimes and soul lessons gained, helping you to consider the deeper reason you are here. Bryn shares her wisdom spanning 20 years of guiding spiritual regression clients into the afterlife and connecting them with their spiritual team and soul's purpose to bring them full circle, helping you gain insight into your own soul's purpose while supporting others in fulfilling theirs. Living in partnership with your soul, with less worry and greater trust, you can be in divine flow and thrive. For more information on becoming a certified hypnotherapist and regressionist and assisting with the global transformation taking place, visit brynblankinship.com.